When shouldn't you get pierced? You know, those times in life where it's not a good idea. Coming up next on New to Piercing, episode number 20. For those who are new to the channel, welcome to the Body Piercing and Tattooing channel. My name is DaVo. I'm a professional body piercer and have been since 1994. I own and I operate the Axiom Body Piercing studio located right here in Des Moines, Iowa, inside Skin Kitchen Tattoo. So what we're going to talk about today is those situations in life when you should postpone getting pierced. You know, things are not going to do well if you go ahead and get it done. First one, right before you go on vacation. Being on vacation and having a healing piercing has a lot of problems. The biggest ones being stress prolongs your healing period. You can't control how clean the environments are that you're going to be in. And on top of that, you can't really be on a schedule of cleaning it properly. Delays happen usually. Can't swim. And you're going to be exposed to an environment that you're normally not in. You may be exposed to pathogens you've never came in contact before, and that increases your likelihood of infection because you haven't built up an immunity to it. So I do not suggest getting pierced right before you go on vacation. Number two, if you have some important event coming up that may require you to remove the jewelry, like a wedding or, where it's visible and you can't be in the wedding pictures, that sort of thing. Family gatherings, maybe a play that you're in, a musical, some type of activity that you can't have a piercing in that part of your body. The second one would be is if it affects employment. If you work at a job where there's a dress code, it's mentioned in there about piercing, probably should put off getting it done until you have some other employment. Right before a medical procedure or surgery. Yeah, in most cases, you're going to be asked to remove the jewelry or change it into something that isn't going to be a factor. The main things that we're concerned about is things that show up or block the view, that are magnetic or drawn by magnets, or are conductive. If it's made out of metal, there's a chance those things are going to happen. Even though we only sell jewelry that is biocompatible and equivalent to what would be in a heart pace or like a pacemaker, most medical professionals will not go, oh, that's going to be fine. They're going to say you have to take it out. So it's a good idea if you have any of those things coming up in your life, postpone the piercing until after you're done with that. If you are an avid swimmer or you boat a lot or you spend a lot of time in the water in any way, shape, or form, postpone it until it gets to the point where you're not going to be in the water that much. You cannot swim or submerge the piercing in bodies of water. Here's the deal with that. There is no way to have a body of water that's large enough for you to submerge your whole body in and move around in that isn't filled with microorganisms, regardless of how it's treated or who swims in it or what access there is. Every time you put that piercing in there, which is an open wound, you are risking infection. No way around it. You need to stay out until it is healed. So postpone it till winter when you're not going to be swimming or scuba diving or wind sailing. If you have a medical condition, you probably want to postpone or not get pierced. Talk to your doctor if it may be a problem, especially if you're going through a temporary treatment, like let's say you have a broken bone or something. It might be a better option to wait until after you're done going through everything that's involved with that before you get a new piercing. If you're on medications that are blood thinners or could affect the piercing either during the procedure or during the healing, I would advise you to wait until after you're off that medication or talk to your doctor and see if it's going to be an issue. If you are pregnant or planning on getting pregnant, there's a couple different problems with getting pierced during pregnancy or getting pregnant with a new piercing. One of the biggest ones would be is if it's in a part of the body that is going to be affected by the growth of that part of your body while you produce a new child. The other problem would be is that your body's working hard to do one thing, Adding another thing to that is just going to prolong your healing period and increase your likelihood of infection or other problem. If you're actually pregnant, it might be a situation where the stress of getting pierced, in theory, could produce a miscarriage, which nobody wants that to happen at all. Wait until afterwards. Also take into account if you plan on breastfeeding, you probably want to wait to get your nipples pierced until afterwards. Also, it's a good idea to kind of wait until your body's back to normal or somewhat normal state before getting a piercing, as far as your health level and kind of recovered from the pregnancy and etc. And during breastfeeding is kind of some people will say no because there's a possibility of getting an infection and then transferring it to the child. When in doubt, postpone. Next one is if you are unsure whether or not you are allergic to metals. If you have metal allergies and you're not sure exactly what it is, you definitely want to do your research before getting it done and make sure that you have access to the most biocompatible material as possible. And if you don't, postpone it until that piercer can get that in stock or you can purchase some. If you are prone to scarring or keloiding, I would suggest postponing or not getting pierced at all. Piercings, if you are prone to keloiding, and you know you are, and I'm not talking about piercing bumps that go away. I'm talking about actual keloiding, not the misquoted, misdiagnosed nonsense of the internet. If you are prone to those, piercings are not in your future. It's going to probably create a lot of scarring that is going to have to be surgically removed. If you are healing a large wound or overcoming some type of health issue or recovering from something, it's best to wait until you're fully recovered. I kind of touched on this a couple different times. Basically, your body is under a lot of stress to do that. It's taking a lot of work to do that, and getting a piercing is just adding to that workload, which increases healing time, increases likelihood of problems, and increases likelihood of infection because your immune system is depreciated. It's best to just wait until you're fully healthy. Same comes to if you're just getting over the flu or you have the flu or you're sick. Wait until you're not sick. Give your body some time to recover. Adding another thing to it is just going to cause the same problems I just mentioned. Next one would be if you're competing in a sport, especially any that involve wearing protective equipment that may cover up that piercing or be in that piercing area or rub against that piercing. It's best to wait until after the season where you have a break where you can heal the piercing properly. If you do something where there's contact with other people or contact with the floor or something else that might be in the area of the piercing, definitely delay it until after you're done doing that. If you're in the military, I wouldn't suggest getting pierced until you know exactly what the dress code says. And understand that in the military, it seems to change a lot when it comes to piercings. It's changed probably 9 times in the last decade or two, where it's acceptable to have this, but it's not acceptable to have this. And then it's acceptable to have this, then suddenly it's not acceptable. If you don't have a problem with removing the jewelry if something comes up, hey, I guess okay, but really, to be honest with you, if you want to have a piercing and want to have a piercing for the rest of your life, you want it to be a part of you, it'd be best to wait until you're done with your service. Next reason not to get something done would be if your anatomy is not correct. If your piercer says, hey, you don't have the anatomy for that piercing, don't just go to another piercer and they say no, and go to the next piercer and they say no, and then you go to the guy that runs the one out of the trailer in the Walmart parking lot, and he goes, yeah, I can do that. Don't get it pierced. There's a reason why all these people are rejecting it, or saying you can't have it. It's because you don't have the correct anatomy to support that piercing. The end result is going to be a traumatic piercing that doesn't heal right or heal at all. If one of your hobbies involves wearing protective gears or helmets or etc., don't get piercings in areas that are going to be covered by it. I kind of went over this a little bit before, but a lot of people don't think about it, especially summer comes and you're getting the bike out and you're putting the helmet on and ow, that hurts. My helix, oh God, I don't understand why my helix I had done 4 months ago suddenly is having all kinds of problems. Plan this stuff out. Either you don't do it for that summer or you wait until after summer so that you're not taking a helmet off and on and etc. Next one would be not to get pierced would be if you have If you're an alcoholic, substance abuse problems, drug addict, etc., your immune system is not very good because those drugs and alcohol and etc. Also, your ability to heal is greatly reduced. It is best to wait until you are not doing those things anymore. I should probably mention that smoking, any type of smoking is going to prolong your healing period, regardless. I don't care if it's the most natural thing on earth. It is going to cause, there are things in there that will help prolong your healing period and make you more unhealthy. The next one is if you have plans for some fun time with your partner and you're getting a piercing in an area that would be considered sexual or a private area. This is going to impede the amount of contact your partner can have with it. If you do allow that to happen, there's a possibility of infection. It's much better to do this after you talk to your partner and you've agreed or what have you, and you've kind of set aside a time where you have a couple of weeks to recover and kind of get through the initial healing period. The last one, if you tan on a regular basis, you can cover up the piercing area and that'll eliminate this. But in some cases, and I've especially seen this a lot on navels, if that scar tissue is forming during the healing process and it's exposed to a lot of light, it will discolor the scarring tissue, and once it heals, it'll look like there's a red ring or an odd colored, discolored area around the piercing. So it's best if you tan to either cover up the piercing or wait until you're not doing that as much. Well, that's it. Do you have some other reason why you shouldn't get pierced? Leave it in the comments. Till next time, here's hoping all your piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, I'd love to see you for your body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you in that next video.